So I thought I'd make another video just kind of explaining some of the smaller steps I took prior to getting moved into my location. Like I said, a friend of mine had approached me with this business opportunity. So from there, my next step was to sit down and make a bullet point business plan. That just kind of looked like what my main idea was for this, the ways that I plan to advertise, what my short-term goals were to make it successful, what my long-term goals were to make it successful. Outside of that, I put down a list of the people I intended to contact to network with. I also put down, some margins, short-term, long-term, just very rough guesstimates for cost-wise on that stuff. That brought, my investment number of how much money I had to invest in this, as well as made an agreement to invest some sweat equity into the space itself. So that was the very first process, was just really to um, put together a solid thought to bring this essentially an investor to just say, hey, I'm serious about this. And here's the way that I want to approach it. It gave him confidence in me as a partner to move forward with this. I did just quickly want to say, I had spent about a year and a half planning for something like this, setting a little bit of money aside, and just having that mentality that, hey, I want to do something different. And then when the opportunity presented itself, for me, this was it. I was ready to jump on it and see where it went for me. I don't mean that to say like I'm so smart or something. I actually mean it to say like it's a pretty simple process. If you want to change your life and grow and move forwards, it was just a matter of being intentional about that and being prepared then for when that opportunity presented itself. So yeah, from there, it was actually not a lot of money that I had set aside to start with, and I actually just started by really searching the internet for used bicycles that I could buy really cheap. And I started purchasing those and storing them and kind of cleaning them up and getting them ready to go. After that, I started really trying to find manufacturers, and like I said, I had a lot of trouble doing that. And my kind of turning point was when I quit looking for specific brands and started just looking for manufacturers, not even wholesalers per se, who was manufacturing the bikes. And once I was able to find those companies in the US, I was able to then reach out to them and find specific brands through them. If anyone was looking for some advice on who to reach out to as far as bicycles go, I'd be happy to contact you and let you know who I use. From there was a lot of legal stuff that I didn't particularly have a lot of experience with. I went and sat down with my tax accountant to get the initial process started, just to explain to me how I was going to want to approach it from a tax perspective. But after that, since I was a partnership, it was important, I felt, to fill out a form that's called an order of operations. My partner and I did that through a law firm. It's a very expensive process. If there's any way to avoid doing it through a law firm early on, depending on how big you're going and what the complexity of you and your partner's relationship is, I would advise maybe looking into some other ways outside of a law firm. It is a very expensive process. For us, we thought it was important as we were friends, so we wanted to just have a written agreement that kind of stated what both of us were expected to do and what the business looked like for both of us. So once we had our LLC created and our order of operations set up so that we had our obligations in order, we filed then with the state for our EIN number or our tax ID number. That's something we did through the law firm that we filed our LLC through. Again, a little bit expensive to do, and I believe you can do that online through some pretty inexpensive websites, but that is critical to have. You'll need that for any kind of wholesale purchasing or any kind of legal filing. They're going to want that number. because they want you in the system. The next step was to reach out to the officials in the community that I was going into in the township there. There were some fees there that I hadn't really thought about. I should have expected them. Zoning fees for the building, for my sign, just for opening a new business in the town. I had to pay several fees, a couple $100, fill out some forms. I thought it was best to just go down in person and talk to the people there and get to know them right off the bat. So the next step for me was to use some of the skills I already had to aid me in switching from one career to the other. So I came here in the evenings after my day job for about a month and just did renovations on the space. I painted the walls, put down this hardwood floor, hung all these shelves, and just tried to make the space a little bit more welcoming. I will say that I wasn't afraid to stick with what I knew and use that to piggyback and kind of Yoshi jump into this next chapter of my life. And I'm still working part-time construction and part-time here at the store. So my days are long, the weeks are long, but I think that the investment is worthwhile. So I know this video is probably really elementary for a lot of people, but for me, I'm kind of just a dumb layman moving into a new industry. I'm excited about it and just trying to grow and learn and connect with other people doing the same thing. And if I can, with these videos, help some people just either be motivated or learn some of the process that it is to move into retail, I'm happy to do that and continue to kind of chronicle this as I'm moving forward and see what happens. And you know, if these videos turn into a series that is about how to fail a business, I imagine that some people might learn from that as well.